So, hello to everyone. Take a seat and welcome for this roundtable. So, last year on this same stage, Orange launched Quantum Defender, France's first commercial quantum secured network service, and it was exactly here. So since then, a lot of things happened, and for that, I'm delighted to welcome my panel. So we are with Vivien Mura. Hello, Vivien.
Hello.
You're a Chief Technology Officer at Orange Cyberdefense. We are also with Marie Soustelle. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. You are Sales Manager at Quandela. Jean-Charles Griviaud. Hello.
Hello.
You are Chief Security Officer Europe at Cisco, and Benjamin Vigouroux. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're a VP Digital Infrastructure at Orange Business. I say it because it's written very small. So, Benjamin, I want to start with you. I believe lots of things happened meanwhile this year. So, what surprised you the most?
Indeed, and if I had to pick one thing, I would say that the maturity level of enterprises is going up. And you know, I was there last year at VivaTech here.
Yeah.
Very excited to launch Orange Quantum Defender, but for most enterprises, I had to say it looked a bit like science fiction. But it's not the case right now anymore in 2026. It's very different. Enterprises, they already started protecting their infrastructure. And that's why we already have more than 20 customers on Orange Quantum Defender.
Yeah, so it's not science fiction anymore. It sounds
Nope.
more like a big project. And maybe you could explain in a few words what exactly Quantum Defender.
Yeah, very shortly. So Orange Quantum Defender, it's a product with 3 solutions that customer can combine to be at the end quantum safe. So the first solution, it's advisory and consulting services delivered by Orange Cyberdefense in your teams, Vivien, to help enterprise be quantum safe at some point and help them migrate. The second solution, it's our quantum safe connectivity product. And we are the first provider to build that. And we did this in partnership with Cisco. And we did a few announcements a few months ago at the Cisco Live. And my partner in crime here, Jean-Charles, will share more about that. And the first service, it's pure infrastructure. Here we built a highly secure infrastructure in Paris. We partner with Nokia, we partner with Toshiba here. And we double the level of protection to protect the most critical communications of our customer. So, in short, we keep investing, we keep building Orange Quantum Defender. And in the meantime, we partner with startups such as Quandela to leverage the power of quantum computing capabilities for our own needs at Orange.
And as I said at the beginning, you are very proud because it's France's first commercial quantum secured network service. So you told me about Quandela, and Marie, I want to ask you, how is quantum now progressing actually in France?
So it's progressing, and it's progressing really, really fast. We had a bunch of new announcements a few weeks ago by Monsieur le Président Emmanuel Macron at TGCC while he was visiting the lab and seeing our brand new quantum computers that was installed there.
And he invested, he gave some money. He invested and he told you to
exactly. So it's a new investment, like a few more billions euros that are now available for quantum tech provider in France. So as you said, it's no longer of the future, like it's happening right now. We are actually already selling quantum computers. Those are available, like for example, if you want to access a Quandela quantum computer, you can access it for free on the cloud since 2022. So just go out and test it by yourself.
And you actually presented a quantum computer a few months ago. It was in November at Orange Open Tech.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are also curious, we have one mock-up of the exact same quantum computer available on the 3rd floor at OVH Cloud booth. So just pass by and say hi. We'll be happy to show you how it works.
So thank you for this little announcement. Vivien, so you are from the part of Orange Cyberdefense, helping nowadays company to have this quantum safe migration. I suppose there are some issues. How is that working?
Yes. So we've started to support our clients since, I would say, the beginning of this year. And things has changed. I mean, 1 year ago, it was more a matter of awareness. And I would say awareness is still now improving, but we observe a gap between action and the reality of the threat that is coming more and more. As you said, Marie, the research in quantum computing is progressing, fueled by many investments in the world, and this Q-Day is approaching more and more. So, and we now have these big firms, big companies of internet saying that they have moved up the deadline for the migration plan. So it's a big matter, and it's
so
also
you would say you are in
an
advance?
issue of.
You would say you are in. Yeah, it's very loud. Sorry. You would say you are in advance in your planning. That's what you are saying. It's happened faster than you thought.
Yeah, it's a matter of prioritization because there are a lot of emerging risks to face for CISOs, security for AI, for instance, and other matters. So it's a big deal for them to manage to address the quantum threats with the other emerging risks. And yes, we have this chance, and it's probably the good news, to anticipate this Q-Day. It doesn't happen so often in cybersecurity. So we have the ability to anticipate and to migrate, to start the migration now since we now have standards that are now ready to do that.
So you are in a good position to anticipate. I believe at Cisco it's quite the same. How are you accompanying the growth of quantum when it comes to quantum? How is that working from the part of Cisco?
Okay. So for Cisco, it's quantum is yet another technology disruption, as we saw many in the past. It does require risk management. It does require planning. It will also foster innovation. From a risk management perspective, what we have done, we started many years ago to analyze what are the risks for our portfolio, software and hardware, understanding what are the specific risks related to quantum to what we are doing today. We took the decision many years ago to build new hardware to protect the platform because many of the platform, to do security on the platform is based on cryptography, and the cryptography, some of the cryptography will be broken by quantum computers. So we build a new generation of hardware to make sure that we are quantum safe. Now what we do, we are deploying PQC, which is a set of new cryptographic algorithms that are, for the moment, there is no evidence that a quantum computer can break, and we are propagating that across the entire portfolio. What we do with Orange today is we have work on validating that and bringing quantum safe technology into offers like FlexVPN, and we are about to start SD1 quantum safe solution. So that's the type of thing that we're doing.
And sorry, I mean, it could be a question to you too. How is this collaboration working between Orange and Cisco? Where are you then?
I could start maybe. In short, what we announced a few months ago, right now, our quantum safe connectivity products they are ready at scale thanks to Cisco. So the algorithms are embarked into the hardware. So that's what we call the underlay here. So underlay is ready at scale. It's available for any customer of Orange Business right now. And then, as you say, SD1 will follow this year, and the rest of the overlay service will come. So what is important, it's ready at scale. There is no pilot, no POC, no whatever.
So it's quite a test and learn method. You are learning by doing it.
Yep.
That's the case. And on Cisco's side? And on Cisco's side, you develop quite together with Orange. How is it working when you launch such products?
So what we do, we bring software, hardware to Orange, and we make sure that it works first.
Yeah.
And we are validating offers, and we integrate that in the portfolio.
Okay. And Vivien, going back to those migrations, I believe you have those discussions with your client. How can you help them? Are they a little bit scared when they need to migrate maybe some sensitive things? How is it working?
Yes, we have two kinds of companies. The first one doesn't know where to start. So our role is also to make the plan with them, to make the strategic plan.
They need a schedule.
Yes.
To understand what's happening.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And for the others, they are maybe more mature. They have started the plan, the migration plan. It's more a matter of facing obstacles, technical, operational obstacles. Sometimes the company is very decentralized. Sometimes people are very far from the core domain. So we need to address that. We need to bring coordination. And sometimes we have very specific technical obstacles that may be solved with our experts, cyber experts, but also cryptologs we have in the group at Orange Innovation. So we have these different people, but it's still a positive matter, it's a positive issue. We are trying to solve a debt, cryptographic debt, and it's something that will also stay in time, so it's a big challenge, but it's a positive one, I would say.
And you would say it's easier when it's with small companies, or it's working easily with bigger ones?
It's probably more complicated for large companies,
okay,
because you need to map, you need to identify where are the crypto assets, etc. But I think it's also, you don't need, always need to have a dedicated content budget. You can also take benefit of existing cybersecurity program and then insert simultaneously the migration in, if you need, for instance, to migrate from one PKI to another one,
okay,
then you can also migrate the technology with the post-quantum matter.
Okay, they are more flexible. They start from scratch. On your side, Marie, Benjamin told us a little bit at the beginning that you are developing some use cases, Quandela and with Orange together. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, of course. So we've been talking a lot about the threats of quantum, but quantum is also an opportunity to develop new use cases.
Yeah, that's true. We're always saying it's very stressful and we forgot completely.
It's also an amazing new solution that we can use to enhance our performances. So what we've been doing with Orange Innovations team is to enhance a machine learning model for malware classification.
Okay.
So basically, we just added a quantum layer within the classical machine learning workflow that enhances slightly the performances. So it could be either to enhance the performances of the model, like the precision of the model, get better result, get a better classification of the malware, to detect if a malware is indeed a malware or it's like a good program that you can just leave it be. You can also, for example, train your model with less data, which is really relevant for some use cases where you don't have a lot of sample, especially malware detection, as malware are evolving pretty quickly.
So with less data, you said?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
With less data, sometimes it's robustness to noise that you are going to tackle. So depending on the problem, depending on the data set, depending on what are your KPI behind it, you can find several new way to address some classical issues that we can't solve or can't perfectly solve classically. So it's really promising.
Okay, and from your side, you wanted to add something from the Orange side, that the work and this collaboration you're having with Quandela?
No, that's great, because for us that's a great way of learning as well. Because as we said, at Orange we focus on building an infrastructure that is quantum safe, so that is protected against those threats. But as well, we need to learn by using the quantum computers for real use cases, not pilot or whatever. So it's critical to act on both sides for us at Orange for credibility in front of our customers as well. Yeah.
Okay, with good experts. So when I'm listening to you, I would like to ask you from the cybersecurity part, Jean-Charles, can we say quantum is the best or the worst thing that happened to cybersecurity? You have to say it's the best, but it's also complicated.
No, let's say, as I said at the beginning, when there is a technology disruption, there is always pro and cons.
Yeah, of course. Like each disruption.
What we talk about now was so far PQC and so on. That's part of the risk that quantum computing is posing. But there is a lot of opportunity that we can deliver from quantum capabilities. At Cisco, we have opened a quantum lab in California to specifically focus on what are the key, let's say, looking at quantum characteristics, what can we do specifically, uniquely from quantum. So typically on the cryptography side, it's all about using an out-of-band infrastructure to exchange keys, which means that a totally different way to do cryptography compared to what we do today. So the key are not exchanged in the real network, but on the out-of-band network. That's one thing. And we're also working on innovation on what's going to be the role of the network tomorrow and to connect quantum computers.
So you have to get all the time very prospective scenarios.
Absolutely. And we have some real, let's say, we're starting to build some product like quantum switch to share some quantum state between computer at long distance and so on. So I think it's a discovery mode, it's a lab, but there is a lot of investment on Cisco to understand what value can we get from the quantum physics and the quantum computer at the same time.
So even imagine some scenarios that won't happen. So you have also to imagine sometimes scenarios that never will happen. It can. Okay, you have to be very open.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's super important to talk again about crypto agility here because this concept is key. A few algorithms have been validated, the PQC one that you mentioned before, Jean-Charles, by the NIST in 2024. But there is no guarantee that those algorithms are not going to be broken. You know, maybe it's going to be broken tomorrow. I don't expect that, of course. But maybe
but you cannot avoid it. So
yeah, there is no guarantee. So it's all about the concept of crypto agility, being able to switch those algorithms in a swift, in a kind of seamless way into your infrastructure in case something happens. So that's really the shift here in terms of mindset. Yeah.
So there is a shift always in case of.
Yeah.
And when you are, Vivien, talking to your clients, so I understand there is a huge transformation, but do you think also they have to make a mental shift in their transformation?
Yes, and as you said, Benjamin, agility is probably the key. Also, it's a clue for many things in cybersecurity today because of the complexity of the digital landscape we have. Regarding post-quantum cryptography, it's not only a matter of confidentiality, because we always talk about the harvest, not the crypt later issue, and it's still a concern. But I think there's also something around identity and the closer we are to the QA, the more we will have also problems with impersonation of machine, of people, because it will be also feasible for bad guys to use the quantum capability to create false certificates and then to access to systems without being detected.
Okay, so you need to be careful and always continue to learn and even to test sometimes. Maybe I would ask the audience before we leave with a key message if you have some questions you wanted to ask to our speakers. No? Is there? Yes, there is a question. If you can stand up. I don't have the mic, but I'm sorry, you have to come in front because we cannot hear you. And we cannot give you the mic. I'm very sorry for that. Here. Yes, please.
Hello? Good. Okay. Hello, so I'm Annie. I'm from Taiwan. I used to work in KPMG as a cybersecurity consultant, and I do AI security now. So basically, my question is that when you're helping your clients to migrate to post-quantum migration, what I saw was that since the main impact is in the asymmetry cryptography, therefore, most of the things that we are migrating are very confidential. They're very important. That's the reason they apply RSA or whatever inside. So what are the challenges that you face when you're making such plan? And step by step, how do we do the migration, basically? Because the key is inside every layer of the system. How do we inventory them? And how do we, step by step, change them into PQC? Thank you.
I'm not sure we can share a complete schedule of the migration because it would take a lot of time, but I'm sure you have some.
Yes, you're right. And thank you for the question. Very good question. Just a few ideas because, yes, it's a big story. First, for inventory, we have different tools to be able to scan the network or the systems to find the crypto assets. So that's for the first step. Second is then you need to make the prioritization regarding the criticality of your assets. And also the ability for bad guys to access to the assets. So that's why there's also a cyber matter to know the threat and know where the attackers may pass through. And then you have the very technical obstacle to pass through. I mean, you need also to understand what are the algorithms you need to choose and to tweak them, to choose the right policy, because there are also matters in terms of performance, interoperability, etc. So yes, it's something you need to start from the top, do the strategic plan, and then when you have these different milestones, you can progress with the experts on these different issues.
I fully agree with what you said, Vivien. If I may add, let's be honest, here today at VivaTech, very few enterprise will have a full infrastructure that will be quantum safe before the Q-Day. I believe it's already too late. Having said that, what leaders can do right now, it's about protecting their most critical asset and go back to the basic, in fact. So what I mean by basic here, it's about...
So you say we have to define the more important we have to save, and for the other one we will see.
Yeah, because you cannot do everything.
Okay.
In fact, that's...
priorities.
Yeah, time is ticking.
Okay.
So you focus on the critical asset and go back to the basic. I mean, okay, assign somebody to drive the internal migration in your company with real decision power, and that part is key. Partner with the right companies, and make sure to build as soon as possible the crypto asset map to have the holistic view of your asset, because otherwise you cannot prioritize. So yeah, let's go back to the basic, and it's all about prioritization at some point.
You agree with this? Go back to the basics?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think one thing that is important also is that in many corporate today, CISO have their mind around AI threats, and they are trying to identify what are their technical debt in their infrastructures, meaning, let's say, devices that are obsolete, very old, poor security postures, and let's say one of the objectives is to make sure that these low devices from a security perspective needs to be upgraded. So there is that work is happening today in corporate with AI threat in mind. I think what we need to do collectively is to make sure that we pass the message to those persons to say, if you change your infrastructures for AI reason, make sure that you integrate the quantum safe capability from day zero.
Yeah.
That's something that is very important. It's a matter of protecting your investment long term, even if it's not the highest priority now. I think it's a good investment to do, and we need to explain why it's important.
And so you say also to the companies that they have to check their own data and everything before, and to think about which one are very important, and maybe some that are obsolete, which is fine.
You don't fix something that you don't understand. So you need to identify what is the threats, what is your inventories, and then from there you can act.
Yeah, and to understand how the migration is working. Marie, you wanted to add something about it too?
Yeah, so even if when we're trying to develop some use cases with our industrial customer, basically what we do is we are benchmarking it against the current technologies that they are using. So what we usually see is an improvement of the classical technology too, because of that assessment that was mentioned before. So even for opportunities, most of the time, it also has a positive impact on what are the current solutions already deployed at the customer site.
Yeah, and we cannot think without this quantum safe solution. Thank you very much for your question. Is there another question? I know I have just the mic on stage, but it's also interesting to have the audience.
Maybe I have one.
Yeah, give it.
And I can answer my own question maybe, but I would rather have
you give the
Vivien
question to
start.
yourself. Yeah, it's better
exactly.
to someone else.
Because there is a misunderstanding. Like I remember that a couple of months ago, CHU director of a hospital, large one in the Paris area, he told me, okay, you guys, what you are doing, that's great and so on.
Yeah.
But I don't have 100 million euro to protect my infrastructure. So what should I do? So I think there
the
is
question is a price.
Yep,
Yes,
there is something to be tackled about money. So I'll let you the floor, Vivien, and then I could elaborate.
About the price.
Thank you, Benjamin.
More investment.
Yes, I really like what you said, Mary, because I think it's a very positive challenge for everyone. We have this cryptography that is hard coding in old products and systems since many years now, and we now have this opportunity to progress and to do the things in the right way. So I think it's something that may also be spreading in the companies, to say that we have this very positive venture to very positive story to write together.
Yeah, but then with the investment for those companies who don't have enough money, I would say, to invest, they can.
Yes, we have this budget constraint, but again, we can also take benefit of the existing
Okay.
cybersecurity program we
So
have
maybe
in the
they don't
companies.
need to invest as much as they are thinking.
Absolutely,
Okay.
and that's also something that may be supported by our consultants to find when you need to be compliant to DORA, you need to be compliant to NIS2, etc. It's something that may be also a lever to migrate to the post-quantum cryptography, and you need to find in these different measures how you can make it happen.
Okay, and we also need to have our own system, and about sovereignty, which is also a huge topic when it's come to quantum. You wanted to say something about it also?
Yeah, and to complement what you said, Vivien, you, as a customer, as a CIO, as a CISO, you need to leverage the opportunities. So the current programs to be compliant with trust, with regulation, whatever, that's an opportunity to fund your quantum safe initiative without having a dedicated budget, as you said. Other opportunity, okay, assume your network stack is end of life.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to replace it. So go talk to Orange Business and Cisco.
It's a perfect moment.
So you need to leverage the opportunities. Plus as well, okay, at some point you need a dedicated budget, but first it starts with training and it starts with building the crypto asset map. And you don't need $1 million to do that.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, maybe it's like something, a bad idea that we all have, that it will be so expensive, and at last it's not so expensive as we were thinking.
It's so expensive if you want to replace everything one shot. But as we said, that's not the
and you are telling the
model.
companies they should not replace everything. They should prioritize.
Yeah, yes, of course, and hopefully we can do this in prioritization. It's not mandatory to migrate everything at one time, of course. Yes, I forgot what I wanted to say.
No, it's about it's not so expensive as we thought. So
no. What I wanted to say is that in terms of it may be costly if you don't take the things now. I think it's better to start now.
If you wait, it's worse.
Yes, it will be worse. It will be more expensive.
Okay, that's a good end message. So don't panic, but don't procrastinate. That's what you are telling everyone, right? Okay, maybe you want to leave just the floor with a little conclusion on what you are working right now. Marie, on your side, what are your new projects now? What is your main goal now at VivaTech?
So a lot of new amazing things. As I mentioned before, it's progressing fast. We are developing more and more use cases with industrial customers. If you want to have a look of what we've been doing, just stop by at our booth. We are at French Tech booth on the National Strategy for France, and also at OVH Cloud booth. So, yeah, feel free to stop by.
We will. Jean-Charles?
My final message is start now. As you said, let's say if you wait for the Q day, you will have to do crisis management. Rush is the cost will be twice, because you will have to cost to the migration and the cost of the crisis. If you start now, it's all about migration planning, and it's going to be a smooth transition.
Yeah, and at each VivaTech, I have the feeling the Q day is coming earlier, so maybe once we will see it and we didn't even notice it. Final message from the Orange side, so don't panic, but don't procrastinate.
Exactly, and as you said, Jean-Charles, it's a matter of doing the things right now. Maybe another point is also do not rely only on your supply chain. I mean, they won't take care of your own migration. It's a matter of you. It's your responsibility to drive it, especially for large companies. And it's not easy. We have this experience at Orange Group. It's not easy. But yeah, again, it's a matter of time.
And maybe to take a step back, we talk about quantum, super interesting, of course. But our promise, it's not a standalone program. It's not a standalone project, you know. Because at Orange, our promise, it has already been, help enterprise control the infrastructure so that they could ensure the business continuity. So here we are just helping them ensure the business continuity in the quantum era. That's it.
Yeah, so it's just one step further that you had to do. Okay, so thank you very much, because we understood very clearly that it's also a whole ecosystem and that you need all the partners to be involved. Thank you very much to having this roundtable with us, and enjoy VivaTech edition 2026.
Thank you.
Thank you.